Every week something comes up and it ends up being a theme. And this week's theme, there's a lot of wound healing coming up. And there's a pattern that's forming. And usually when patterns form, that means that it's something that I'm going to talk about because it comes up and it's on the same frequency for a lot of people. So this might help you if you are seeing a certain pattern come up in your life. The pattern that I'm talking about is the pattern of you trying to grow and trying to change and shift your reality, and then you get sucked back in by a trigger, which is the hijack of your nervous system, and you end up responding a certain way, or you feel a certain way, and you think, oh my gosh, I'm regressing, I am not growing, I'm back to square one, and that is not what is happening. What is happening is you are meeting the wound and you are meeting the trigger so that you can move past it. Now, when you are meeting the wound and the trigger, a lot of you are saying, but I feel like somebody completely different. It doesn't feel like me, and I'm trying so hard and I still feel this way. Well, what is happening to you is that you are feeling the frequency associated with who you were when the wound occurred. So if the wound occurred when you were a child, you're going to feel like that child. If the wound occurred when you were a teenager or an adult, you're going to feel like you did back then because it's frequency associated with a memory and emotion in your body. So you are in a frequency right now as you, and you are doing the work. You are growing, you are feeling great, and then you get sucked back into the trigger and all of a sudden you don't feel like that anymore, and it can be really confusing. But what's happening is you're getting pulled back into that moment in time so that you can take your power back. And what that looks like is up to you. So if you are in a triggering moment and you're supposed to do something to take your power back, then you have to do it from a place of power. And doing it from a place of power means that you wait till you're calm and you decide what do you want to feel and how do you want to react. That is from a place of control and power for you. And it's hard to get there when you feel like somebody completely different. So you need to understand that what you're feeling in the moment isn't you. It's little you. It's not adult you now. You are dealing with parts of you from the past that are coming up to be seen, felt, and heard. And the rewire is in the moment of the trigger. And what you do is you recognize that's what's happening. You recognize that what you're feeling is a trigger from a wound, and who you feel like in the moment is the same way you felt when that wound was created. So give yourself grace and sit in your body and feel, do your breath work and validate. Of course I feel this way because the wound happened then, and that was then, and this is now. It is in the trigger in that moment when you reparent yourself and you tell yourself these validating things that the trigger goes away because the wound is now felt in its entirety. It's been seen, you have felt it, you've learned from it, and now you bounce back to who you really are. The mistake happens when you associate with the emotion that you are feeling and you believe it's who you are, and it's not. It's who you were back then, and it's coming up so that it can be felt. I know that it's ambiguous to say to come up and move through it. Moving through it, feeling it are the same thing. When you feel it to completion without thinking about it and you sit in your body, that's moving through it. That's letting your metabolization of what happened come to pass. So you are not two different people at that moment. You are still you. You are being given the opportunity to feel what you felt back then and rectify it. Why do you think that actions in the present change the past? Because the wound is gone. You felt it, it metabolized, boom, your past is changed. Retrocausality. That's how it works. So don't let it get you down. You are not the same person. And that's how you rewire in the moment every single time, is you recognize that it's coming from a version of you that's no longer there but needs to be seen and felt and heard. And then you feel the emotion just like you should have back then, but you weren't able to. You process it back then, or you process it now like you weren't able to back then because you weren't safe enough. And that's the rewire in the moment. And the more that you do this, the more that your muscle grows. And it no longer bothers you. You can do it like that. And it changes. You feel it, it comes up, and you move through it. It works every single time. Your body is your inner child, and your consciousness is you, your adult. Your mind is not your consciousness. You are. You are the one that puts the orders into your mind, and your body executes them. And then when it executes the orders, you feel it, you experience it as consciousness. And that is the Trinity, the trifecta. We'll talk more about that later, all right? Love you, mean it. Bye.